Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of the John Doe Review. My name is Danielle. John Doe, obviously. I got this little mic on me, except it's in my hand again for one last time. I promise this will be the last hand mic episode, at least for the near future. We are basically unpacked in our new house. But the area that I do want to film these episodes in is the last area that we need to figure out exactly how we want to set it up. It's like this cute little built-in desk area in our living room. And I don't have the energy to figure that out because I injured myself. Woo! And so I'm in a little bit of pain, and we'll get into that story. But the topics for this episode are going to be a little different. Usually in the John Doe Review, I am directly reviewing the last 2 weeks of my life. But since last episode was solely focused on our ceiling falling, right? I'm going to basically be summarizing a bunch of stuff that happened in June and then talking a little bit about the beginning of July. And so this episode's topics will be key fobs going missing, or did they? Guyana Day, and me being robbed of first place in the lime and spoon race, because I definitely won that. 3, seeing Yeba, who is my favorite vocalist of all time. I'm obsessed with her. It was amazing. We'll get into it. After all of the things in June that happened, the next topic will be Hunter eating my ice cream and how this is a reoccurring issue. How this is a reoccurring issue in our relationship. The bunk room flooding before the next topic, which will be the murder mystery on July 4th. And lastly, the topic that we're actually going to start with today, last but not least, me busting my ass outside of a jail. All right. We all know this is the John Doe Review, so you have to stay until the end to figure out how I rate the last 2 weeks-ish of my life out of 5 stars. We will see, because honestly, I'm starting this episode and I don't know what I'm going to rate it. I'm going to have to unpack it before I decide. All right, first topic. So, busting my ass outside of a jail. Here's what happened. 1, you're like, why were you outside of a jail? Well, for my job, we like to teach lessons to students and young kids, or not even young kids, just children in general. And we have a residency at 2 jails in the area, or the formal ways, juvenile detention centers, right? And so I'm running a little behind because we left from our office a little late just because we had stuff to do, right? And I'm literally right in front of the jail. I'm walking up these concrete steps, and on the last step, I step on my pant leg on accident. And so I lose my balance and I trip forward a little, right? But then there's no more steps. So I catch myself. And then I catch myself again. And then I catch myself again, and then I catch myself again, and then I catch myself again, and then I wipe out. And then I wipe out. And 3 grown men were on me immediately. Oh my God, ma'am, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. And it's 1, I was embarrassed that I fell. 2, I was embarrassed that I fell at 26 years old. And 3, I was embarrassed that it took me so long to fall. It took me so long to accept that I fell that I probably stumbled for over 5 or 6 seconds. And it was enough time for me to register that those guys were looking at me and started to walk towards me before I fully wiped out. And so by the time I wipe out and they're on me, I'm all that's in my mind at this point is 1, did I save the instruments? Which I did, because I kind of lost my balance because I had my personal stuff in one hand and then I had a box of percussion instruments in my other hand, holding it like a pizza. And as I was falling, I was trying to make sure that this box doesn't hit the ground, even though I should have just let the box fall and caught myself. They would have been fine, but whatever, priorities, right? And so I get up, I see the instruments are okay. I'm telling guys oh, no, I'm fine. Yeah, it's fine. And they're are you okay? And I'm yeah, please stop perceiving me, please. And so I walk inside, I get through security, and then the stinging sets in. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I probably hurt myself. Look at my right forearm. Scraped up. Like, probably the worst scrapes I've had in decades. And then I feel stinging on my knee. Lift my pant leg. There's blood all over the inside of my pant leg. Barely got on the outside though, so I don't think it'll stain. I can wear these pants again. And my other knee also bleeding. My left palm, this one, oh, you can kind of see it on camera. Not really. It's bruised because I got like a weird, like almost like rash from the concrete on it. My right palm though, right? Because I did injure every single limb of mine. My right palm, I looked at it and there was about a quarter size chunk of skin flap hanging open. Yeah, hanging open. And I was like, oh, ow, that actually really hurts. And so then I get to the front of like where we have to check in. I give them my ID and I'm like, hey, do you guys have Band-Aids and alcohol, please? And they're like, oh, we might. And then in my head, I'm thinking, like, this is a freaking jail. You're telling me you don't have Band-Aids? Anyways, they take forever, but I get the Band-Aids, I get the alcohol. It burns! It burns! I had to rip the skin flap off. That was crazy. And yeah, I had to patch myself up there and then go upstairs and share the joy of making music together with children. Hey y'all, editing Danielle here. I just wanted to share a funny story of when I actually got into the room with the kids. So we're like, it's me and my coworker, it's volunteers, and we're passing out these sheets of paper, right? And as this is happening, one of the kids who's like an inmate in this facility, like mouths to me and gestures to where my Band-Aids are. And he goes, what happened? And so then I mouth back to him and I go, I fell. And then he like frowns in disappointment and like shakes his head at me like, And so then I started thinking, you've already been judged by someone for your actions, right? I'm standing here embarrassed with boo-boos and a hurt ego. And you're gonna make fun of me? And you're gonna sit there and judge me for tripping? I didn't appreciate it. But did we still have fun? Yes. Moving on. Yeah, but it was worth it because obviously, you know, they're in a detention center. We're hoping they turn their lives around and all of that. And I could tell that some of them really appreciated that we came by and like just shared, you know, some fun times with them. But yeah, then I came home and once I got home, you know, outside of the jail setting, well, technically I went to work for about an hour after because we only had like an hour left in the day by the time we got back. And my manager was like, Danielle, go home, because he was walking past the office and like saw me like using our first aid stuff and like putting ointments and like covering myself. It took 5 large bandages to cover everything. And so my like desk is like bloody, like wipes and ointments and bandage packages and whatever. And he was like, what happened? And then I told him and he was like, yeah, girl, go home. And then I was like, no, because I will feel guilty. I will feel guilty if I go home and technically this is my fault. And yeah, why did I trip why do I have a scraped knee as a 26-year-old woman? Anyways, then I went home and yeah, I'm in pain. I'm quite sore. The scrapes on my forearm and my palm are like very swollen. And it's crazy. Like it's only about a quarter size of my palm that's taken out, but my whole palm hurts. And I'm like holding the phone with that hand right now because I just don't feel like setting up my phone. But we're going to thug it out for this episode, right? I show up for my people. Next topic. Key fobs. Going missing? ? So, I think this was 2 episodes ago when I cracked my phone. I mentioned that Hunter was on a work trip in Tampa, right? So, he gets home Friday night, And I'm so excited, right? Because I miss my Pokekins. He buys us these really good, like, barbecue, like, brisket baked potatoes from the airport because there's, like, I guess, like, a restaurant, but not really. You can't sit, but you can walk up and buy a stand at the airport, and they're, like, actually really freaking good. So he bought us them for dinner. And, like, he calls me. He's like, oh, I have the baked potatoes. Like, I'm ready to come home. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I miss you. Blah, blah. Anyways, 30 minutes go by and I don't get a call that he's on the road. And I'm like, whatever, that's kind of weird. And then maybe 10 more minutes go by and I get a call from him. And something in my gut was like, something's wrong. I pick up the phone. Hunter goes, I lost my keys. Mm hmm. Mm hmm. I go, how? And this is where I feel like if you're somebody who does not carry a purse and then you're somebody who does carry a purse, this is where we differ. Ooh, ooh, my cat's also upset by this. Whenever I have to fly with my car keys, they are in a zipped pocket, either in my purse or like in my suitcase, right? And then I'm also like religiously checking if they're there every now and then. Hunter doesn't carry a purse, right? He put his key fob in his pocket in Tampa, Florida, had a connecting flight in, I think, Louisiana, and didn't check that pocket again until he tried to open his car door and it didn't open. What? What? And that's on not having anxiety, I guess, because if I had my keys in my pants pocket, oh, I'm checking them every 2 seconds. What? And so he says, yeah, like I fly like this all the time because he flies for work sort of often at this point. He's like, I just put them in my pocket and then I take them out. Like, this has never happened. And I was like, Hunter, you have to put them in a zipped pocket. And did he learn his lesson? Yes, he's going to always put his keys in a zipped pocket. But at this point, there's nothing we can do to change it. So I tell him, well, I'm not picking you up because your car is in the garage of the airport and we're getting charged by the hour. And so I tell him, like, call your parents to see if they have the spare key because that car used to be his dad's car. And so he calls his parents and they say, there is no spare. And so then at that point I'm like, damn. So then we're like, okay, we're gonna have to call like a tow truck because we have to get his car out of that garage because we don't want it just like sitting there and like racking up money. Maybe an hour or so goes by. We can't get a hold of any like locksmiths or tow trucks. All they keep saying is like, somebody will get back to you. Because at this point, it's like, what, 10:30? And he landed probably around like 9. And yeah, they're just having this boy sit there in the heat. And so then at this point, I start feeling a little guilty because I'm like, damn, he is stuck in that garage. I thought it was going to be like he calls his parents, they have a spare, and they either drive that over to him, or I have to go get the spare and then take it to him. Or we just get a tow truck to take it to like his dealership and we get a new key. But yeah, after an hour and a half, I started feeling really bad because, I mean, I'm on FaceTime and I could see him in the garage. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to come get you. I came and got him. We had a cute little date in our car eating these cold barbecue beef brisket potatoes. And we're like, okay, we're going to figure this out tomorrow. So the next day rolls around. I have my friend's housewarming. So we went to bed really late that night trying to figure this out. And then we had to wake up really early because this one like locksmith was like, okay, we could come meet you at your car at like 8 a.m. And so we get up early. We have to meet my friend at her house early because I promised to make like a little finger food for her housewarming that she really likes. And so we get there early and we're like in contact with this locksmith. They fall through because people don't know how to follow through with their word. And so then we find another locksmith that can meet us for like 1. So then at that point, we're exhausted, but we're at my friend's housewarming. It's really cute. It's really wholesome. Very happy for her and her husband. And then we leave to meet the locksmith. The locksmith, at this point, it's 1 o'clock on Saturday. Mind you, we have the Yeba concert at 7 o'clock that night. The locksmith lets us know that he can't get into the car. And we're like, why? And he said, well, it's asking for this like 14-digit code that only Nissan has access to, and that he has never come across this before, ever, ever. As a locksmith, he's never seen that before. And he also mentions that because he was trying to hook up a new key fob, that, and apparently this is a thing, I looked it up. When you try to assign a new key fob to a car, you have to completely wipe its system, right? You have to completely wipe its system. So that means any other key fobs that would have still worked no longer work. But at this point, we're like, well, there's no spare, and like we lost the key fob. Hunter filed a report with the airport, but like to this day, we haven't heard anything. So like that key fob has probably seen all 50 states at this point. And so he tells us that, and we're like, fuck. So then we realize we have to tow the car somewhere, but at this point, we have to go to like the Yebba concert, because like I'm not fucking missing Yebba. Like we'll just eat the freaking cost of however long we have to keep that car in that garage. And so we leave, we get ready for the concert. And then as we're on our way to the concert, we get a text from his dad that says, "Oh, there's a spare. We found a spare to the car," which would be great news, right? But if you remember, we were told that to program a new key fob, which the locksmith already tried doing, you have to wipe all of the previous ones. You have to wipe all the previous ones. So we're like, oh. Anyways, we're standing in line at Yebba. We have to call AAA. They go to tow the car for us to the nearest dealership. But we go, you know what? Just in case, just to see if we can at least unlock the car door for the tow guy, because he was struggling with it. We had Hunter's sister drive the spare key over just to see if it was actually the spare. Because they were like, we don't know if it's the spare. But Hunter looked at the photo and he was like, that looks exactly like my key fob. She drives it over. And it opens the door, like with the little key, the door opens. And as she's doing that, she accidentally hits a button on the actual key fob. And the car reacts. The car reacts. And she's like, oh, I mean, well, I guess we know it's a Nissan key fob. And the AAA guy goes, no, that means it's registered with the car. And she's like, what? And he's like, no, like the car wouldn't react like that if the key fob wasn't synced to the car. And so then me and Hunter tell his sister, see if you could turn the car on. And guys, guess what? At this point, it's like 5:00 on Saturday. We've been dealing with this since like 9:00 on Friday. The car turns on. Are we extremely happy? Yes, because we saved ourselves $500, right? On top of whatever it would have cost to tow the car, right? Are we also heavily annoyed? Also, yes. But you know what? We apologized to my sister-in-law. We were like, oh my God, we're so sorry you drove out there technically for no reason. Like, just go home. Whatever you want, we will buy you it. The towing guy was like, well, you guys have to pay for my parking. And we were like, okay, sorry for wasting your time. But then after that, we had a lovely concert at Yama without having to think of this stupid car. Because what sucked about that whole day is I had to go everywhere with Hunter because and I'm skipping a lot of like driving around, calling people, like all of these things. We had to stay together because then once he got his car, he would have to get out and drive that car, and then somebody else would have to be able to drive whatever car took him, right? Which was me. And so, but we were able to enjoy Yeba, and it was beautiful. If you don't listen to Yeba, you need to listen to her. She has phenomenal vocals. Her vocal technique is so clean and precise. Her songs are amazing. Oh, she's my favorite vocalist. I had an amazing time at that concert. And then obviously on Sunday, so now the third day that we're having to deal with this, we go to his parents' house, collect the key, go back to grab the car. The car turns on. The car won't move. The car won't move. So then we're like, what the fuck? Why the fuck won't the car move? Take about 5 minutes. Then I ask Hunter, okay, you're saying that when you shift, it like moves for a second, but then it won't move anymore. And he's like, yeah, like this is really weird because he's in the garage and I'm outside of the garage waiting in my car. Then I go, Hunter, is your e brake on? And he goes, no, I never put my e brake on. And I was like, why don't you just check though, real quick? Finds the button for the e brake, hits it. The car moves. The car moves because the e brake was on. How did the e brake go on? I don't know. Maybe it was like a anti-theft thing because at this point two people have gotten into that car. The locksmith got in and the AAA guy got in. But the car moves. The car's fine. We are so thankful that we didn't have to pay all that money. All we had to pay was like for 2 extra days of this garage. But wow, that was crazy. And here we are. We're in our new home. The car is here with us. She is alive. And yeah, I guess I can summarize sort of this move, but we found a beautiful townhome. Oh yeah, the last episode, if you listen to it, yeah, we were able to move in. Our old landlord finally filled out her fucking paperwork. And this, by far, is my favorite place that we have ever lived in. This is the 4th place we've lived in together because we had like 2 apartments and then we had that house, where the ceiling collapsed. And now we have this townhome and I feel like it's just the perfect size for us. It is so beautiful. It's like there's so much natural light. I love the way it's designed. There's so much character. It's big enough for all of our animals. Our bedroom is ginormous. Like I'm sitting in here and it feels so empty. We have a king size bed and it feels so small in this room. We need to like figure out how to fill out the space. Maybe I'll get a vanity. I don't know. But everything worked out. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. Shout out our freaking village, bro, because I mentioned it in the last episode. We had so many people come and help us move everything. When I tell you we moved like 70% of all of our stuff that Monday night, like we had maybe 8 or 9 cars to work with and we fit everything that could fit in a car in one of those cars. Drove everything over, people helped us unload, and then me and Hunter stayed up until 3 a.m. Monday night, just unpacking as much as we could. Because I'm one of those people where I cannot live outside of boxes. I can't do it. It has to be like put up as soon as possible. And I've always been like that every time I've moved somewhere. And so, yeah, we stayed up until 3 a.m. unpacking the majority of stuff. And then Tuesday we had movers come and they moved all of the big stuff, like all of the big furniture. Our couch is ginormous, our beds. We have a purple mattress and it's like extremely heavy and extremely floppy. And like when they picked it up, because I kept telling them like it's a heavy mattress. They were like, oh, we move mattresses all the time. And then they picked that shit up and they were like, oh shit. And they had to like roll it into a tube and like strap it down and like those guys are amazing. They had to work with 3 floors because like our place is 3 floors and they did it in 2.5 hours. I gave them a good tip, like shout them out. They were very kind, very helpful. One of them said I was a very happy person. And I was like, oh, thank you, because I don't feel very happy right now. I'm very stressed, but thanks. But yeah, very grateful for where life has led us to. June was insane, but I fully believe it was to lead up to this amazing result of finding a place that we would have otherwise never have found because I never wanted to live in a multi-level home. And we were so desperate that I toured it just because. And now I'm the happiest I've ever been in regards to my living situation. And so, yeah, moving on to topics that also still happened in June. Guyana Day. So, if you don't know, my parents are Guyanese. They're from Guyana, which is a small little country grouped with the Caribbean. It's on the tip top of Brazil. And every year there's a thing called Guyana Day that happens in Dallas where it's basically like a bunch of Guyanese people come together, they make a bunch of food, there's music, there's games, there's community, and it's a fun time. I haven't been able to go to one in years. I used to go to them every year when I was younger. And my husband and my sister-in-law haven't been able to go. And so this year we finally were able to go to Guyana Day. I got to meet my nephew and he's so cute. Oh my goodness. I get to see him again next month for a concert and I'm so excited. But so we go to Guyana Day. Obviously the food was amazing. They had curry crab. They had curry crab. And if you've never had curry crab, it's honestly my favorite type of curry. The only thing about it is it's a little inconvenient to eat because it's crab, obviously. And it was my sister-in-law's and Hunter's first time eating it. And we're going to town. I have this big ass plate of food. I'm eating chow mein. I'm eating palauri. I'm eating roti and curry chicken. I'm eating cook-up rice. And all of a sudden, I feel a splatter of liquid across the entire right side of my body. I open my eyes. I look at Hunter. He has green splattered across his entire face. I look at his hand. He's holding the curry crab. And I guess as he tried to break one of the crab legs, it slipped and just like splattered everywhere. Like it got on me, it got on my sister-in-law. Mind you, I'm sitting in between her and Hunter. It got on her, it got on me, it got all over Hunter. And we spent like the next 5 minutes cleaning ourselves up. My hair smelled like curry. I got curry on my dress. I don't think it's stained though, thankfully. And then Hunter, oh my God, he was covered in it. And all he does, right? So I'm splattered. I pause. I look at him. I assess the situation. All he says is, "I'm so sorry." And mind you, like, this is after, like, at this point in time, this is a day after we found out our ceiling fell. So, like, we already had, like, stressors in our life at that point. But anyways, the food was amazing. There were a couple of races at the end, and one of them was a lime and spoon race, which here's some lore on me. Field day is a thing that happens in elementary school, right? And at my school, we had the egg and spoon race, and I got first place in the egg and spoon race every single year of elementary school. And I have the ribbons to prove it, okay? I guess I have pretty good balance in my hands. I do this race, right? I drop it, I think twice. But in the lime and spoon or egg and spoon, whichever one you've done or have heard of, in the race, whenever you drop the egg, you can't use your hands to pick it up. You have to scoop it up with the spoon and then go back to where you dropped it and then restart from there. So that's what I do because I have, integrity, I have honor, I have a good character, but whatever. And I get second, but I look around and these bitches are not doing it properly. All right. They're dropping the lime and letting it roll forward and then rushing after it and then picking it up and then putting it back on their spoon and not going back to where it fell. They're just continuing on. They're letting the fact that the lime just rolled really far forward propel them. Anyways, one of the judges goes, "You know what? I feel like we need to redo this, okay? Because I feel like there was a tie." And they're pointing to me and another girl. And I'm like, okay. It's not like I care. It's not like I care about getting first place. It's just a game, right? We redo the race. I don't drop that motherfucking lime. I don't drop that lime once. And I come in right behind that girl who, again, was dropping the lime multiple times, picking it up with her hand, not resetting, and just like going forward no matter what. I'm declared second place, but I will say there were a couple of judges going, "Danielle, you won." And I said, I know. But then I looked at the girl who got quote unquote first place and she was celebrating. And then I realized, you know what? I think she needed this. I think she needed to win that lime and spoon race. So in my heart, I know that I'm first place. But you know what? Sometimes people need a win, okay? And I'll let her have that win. Was there a post-race interview with my brother? Yes. Did I voice my frustrations? Also yes. But it's fine. At that point, we go back to Houston. and I declare the last episode I updated you guys on everything, right? On Monday I declared that we are leaving that unsafe environment, and I realized, I had a week to figure it out. And we did. We did. And everything's amazing. But in those days that we couldn't really use the house, we were eating out. And one of those nights, we went out for ice cream at my favorite ice cream place, Jenny's Ice Cream. Holy shit, is the best ice cream in the whole world. I like to call it chewable ice cream because it makes you want to chew. All right, it makes you want to bite it with your front teeth, and it makes you want to go. And I always get it with a cone. And I'm not a waffle cone person, all right? But their waffle cones, buttery, salty, with the sweet chewable ice cream. It's an amazing experience. Anyways, we go there as a treat for myself specifically because, we've been going through a lot. And at this point, I think we had just applied to this house, but we were like waiting to hear back, and we had already been denied from another house, which I'm glad we were, because at the end of the day, like, woo, I like this house way more. And I am telling everyone at this point, because we went out to dinner prior to that as well. I'm like, woo, I'm so full, and I'm like, eating my ice cream cone, but it's a lot. Jenny's gives you a lot, and at some point, I have Hunter hold my ice cream for something. I think it's because I was looking at the new list that our realtor sent for other homes to apply to. And so I'm like looking at the list, and then I kind of pick out, homes that I think Hunter would also be interested in. So I turn to him and I show him my, he just walked up the stairs. Now he's on the bed looking at me ashamed. So I pick those houses and I give the phone to Hunter and I'm like, okay, yeah, check these out. These are the ones I like. And I look and there is the butt of the cone left. Mind you, when I gave him the cone, I still had ice cream above the actual waffle cone. Yeah. I look at him and I go, what the fuck? And he goes, you said you were full. You said you were full. Okay. I said I was full. I didn't say finish my ice cream. And then he proceeds to hand me the little runt that's left at the cone with a little bit of dribbles from the melted cream. And now let's talk about how this is a reoccurring issue in our relationship. Hunter has a problem with, I will give him something of mine that I'm like not quite done eating, and he will finish it. And sometimes I don't mind because I really was done, but sometimes I do mind because I wasn't done. So now we've created a rule. All right, when I say I'm done with something, you as a Hunter need to ask if you can eat it. You need to ask if you can eat it. So now what we do is, I'll be like, oh, I'm full. And then he'll grab it and he'll be like, can I finish this? And I'll be like, yes. Or I'll be like, no. Or I'll be like, you can have a little, but don't finish, right? We had already established this system when he ate my Brambleberry crisp in a waffle cone from Jenny's. So I was enraged, but it's fine. It's fine. I think, did you offer to buy me another one? I can't even remember. But it was ruined. There was no going back. But I really think, I'm hoping that taught him his lesson. And I'm hoping that he respects the system thoroughly now. And I will say, like, I handed him a Dr. Pepper Zero that I, like, just couldn't finish. And he takes it and he goes, can I finish this? And I go, yes, you may. Now, our last topic, the bunk room flooding. So I've been mentioning that I was going to have, a murder mystery for July 4th at Hunter's parents' vacation lake house thing. This is the night we moved in, or maybe the night before we moved into our new house. We get a call from his mom that says, hey, the water heater burst and there's a leak and an entire room is flooded and this place smells like ass and you can't have your murder mystery here anymore. And at this point, I think the universe hates me. because I had been looking forward to the murder mystery since the end of May. Like, it was going to be so fun. And so, we're devastated, but then we realize, okay, it's not going to be a fun, like, weekend getaway with our friends, but we can still have the murder mystery. We'll just have to have it in our new house if we get the house. Because this was, like, during that weird period where our landlord wasn't filling out paperwork. And so, whatever, we update everybody and we're like, hey, looks like this can no longer happen, but we're gonna have it in our new home. Fingers crossed that we have a home. And yeah, that's that. Only for an hour to go by, and then we get another call from his mom, and she goes, oh, maybe you can have it? Spoiler alert, they were able to rip out whatever was damp and like lay down like the it didn't have hardwood on top. It's like what goes underneath your flooring, and like made the room livable. And then there was just like dehydrators running in the room and stuff, and like a fan just to make sure it dried out. And his parents were able to pull through, and we were able to have a lovely 3-day weekend with friends and family. And on Saturday, we had the murder mystery, because how it kind of worked was we got there Thursday night and it was just chilling. And then Friday we floated the river and that was really fun. And then Saturday was the murder mystery. And that was so freaking fun. We did a mystery called Trailer Park Tragedy, which is like basically like redneck Hicks time 1,000. And for my birthday, we did Great Gatsby. It was more serious, and people had fun with that. But I think the fact that this one was like a more silly like theme, people got into character, bro. Like I'm saying, oh, and you shot me and took my girl, and so I have beat, like, people are literally talking like that. People are saying like, oh, bless her heart, like she is a harlot, but like and it got to the point where after the mystery, and only 2 people guessed the murderer. The murderer ended up being the person who I thought, she was like my second guess. And I was just like, she's really playing this off in a way that makes sense. Like, yeah, I could understand why you wouldn't actually go through with a murder. And so I ended up picking somebody else, and it wasn't her. It was the person I originally thought, but whatever. 2 people got it right. Everybody else was like, damn. And after the mystery was over, mind you, the mystery took like 4 or 5 hours, because it just took way longer because people were just having too much fun and like really making it into this whole like soap opera episode. And there was some pretty disgusting tea revealed about some of these couples, if you catch my drift, in the South. And afterwards, like, most of us kept forgetting that we didn't have to put on like this thick Southern accent anymore. So we were just like talking to each other in these stupid character voices. It was so fun. It led to like us playing games and drinking and making s'mores. We did fireworks. And we did karaoke at one point. And did I kill it on Defying Gravity? Obviously. Whoa. Clearly. And then that night was over. The next day, people woke up, went home. We had a shit ton of leftovers. I bought way too much hamburger meat and hot dogs. But you know what? It's good to have too much than too little for 16 people. But that was lovely. I love my friends. I love our community. And I want to do a trip like that again one day, because it was just so much fun. Maybe we can make it like every summer we go out with friends and float the river and just, cute small town and nature and just building bonds vibes, right? But that was that. That was actually, oh my God, that was this past Saturday was the mystery. And then we came back on Sunday, and now I'm recording this on Thursday. And yeah, we're pretty much unpacked. Things are going well. The pets are adjusting to this home. I could tell they really like having the extra space. And yeah, other than me busting my ass outside of a jail, July has been so wonderful and kind to us. And I'm just very grateful. I'm very grateful that we are past the woes of June. Well, guys, that is all I have for you this episode. This episode's pretty random, but life is going well. Now I have to give the past 2-ish weeks a review, because this is the John Doe review. And I'm going to give those weeks, honestly, 4.5 stars. There was some crazy in there, but there was some beautiful in there, right? Being reminded that we have such a strong community of friends and family around us that we're very grateful for. Getting to meet my nephew, getting to move into a beautiful home with our little family that we have. And one, I'm so happy that we have a bigger space because like me and Hunter are very much a hosting couple. And now we have like the perfect amount of space to actually like host things and it not be packed. Which like my friends never cared. They always came. They were always down for the vibes. But it's nice to, give them a space that's a little more comfy. And yeah, the minus 0.5 is the fact that I am actively in pain. Every one of my limbs has an injury on it. My palm is missing a chunk that is very painful. And yeah, like the camera work this episode has probably been crazy. I probably look crazy, but life is on the ups. Life is a 4.5 out of 5 stars right now. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, subscribe, share, do all the things. And I will see you in the next episode. You guys take care and make sure to watch your step as you walk up concrete stairs. Bye.